think most people would say they'd love a brand new kitchen, but may not have the budget for a full renovation. If that is the case for you, then paint is the perfect solution because it's affordable, it's faster, you only need a few days, not a few weeks, and you're not limited by standard cabinet colours. You've got literally thousands of choices, meaning you can tailor it to your exact needs. The first thing I need to do is clear the kitchen out so that we can start painting. So how do you choose the best look for your new kitchen? I like to start by collecting things that I love and that speak to me. So here I found some gorgeous items that were already in the kitchen that belong to the homeowner. We've got the perfect blank canvas with the white tiles on the wall and the white floor, and I'm going to go for a classic vintage look that will really stand the test of time. I'm starting with this beautiful landscape that's been hand painted, and I've noticed there's lots of greens in there, so I'm picking up on that. And then I'm going to do a timber bench top because that will add some warmth to the space. Then I'm going to add some highlights with black accessories that will give it a modern feel. And then I found this beautiful vintage cup which has pops of gold, and that will give us a really luxe feel. One of the most important tips I can give you if you're painting your kitchen is to number your drawers before you take them off. That'll save you a whole lot of grief later trying to work out what goes where. Paint is a great way to update your kitchen cabinets, but an essential part of the process is the prep work. I'm using the Dulux Reno range, which gives you a very durable finish, but to ensure that longevity, I'm going to use the sugar soap to clean off the surface and then wipe it down with fresh, clean water. Now, if your doors are semi-gloss or gloss, you'll want to use a 400 grit sandpaper just to rough up the surface a little bit so that the new paint sticks properly. And if you have any holes or cracks, you'll want to use a little bit of putty to fill them before you start sanding. The primer I'm using is also from the Dulux Renovation range, and it's a two-part system. So you need to add the contents of this tube into the tin. Finish is everything. So if you want it to look like a professional's done it and not your 7-year-old, you want to get a small microfiber roller and keep a wet edge. And what that will do is ensure an even finish. I'm using this gorgeous shade of green called Currency Creek on all the base cabinets, and then on the top I'm keeping things light and bright with vivid white. And the thing that drew me to this beautiful shade is that it's really easy to live with and it's got chameleon-like qualities, so if you surround it with different things it'll take on different hues. It's also water-based, which means cleanup is simple, and it's specially formulated for kitchens, bathrooms and laundries, so it's very hard wearing. You'll need to do at least 2 coats and leave 8 hours drying time in between. We are putting in a new timber bench top and extending it along here. We're also adding in storage in the same material so that it all looks cohesive. Thank you. This timber is rubber wood, which is a plantation-grown material, and you can buy it off the shelf for less than $100 a panel, meaning that depending on the size of your kitchen, you can get a brand new bench top for only a few $100s. Pretty impressive. The new bench top is slightly thinner than the old one, so I've added battens here to raise it up so that it meets the level of the existing tiles. To join the panels together, we're using a special drill bit to create the checkouts, and then these metal joiners, which will attach it all together. Timber makes a great DIY kitchen surface though, because you can stain it whatever colour that matches your decor, or you can leave it natural like this, just make sure you seal it. I'm working on an easy kitchen transformation that is going to look absolutely beautiful. It's really economical, so if you're budget conscious, it's perfect. Plus, it's only going to take a few days rather than a few weeks. To create more storage in the kitchen, we've extended the bench top along because let's face it, who couldn't do with more workspace in the kitchen for food prep? We've also added in a panel next to the fridge, and that has allowed us to add in a box above the fridge in the same material as the bench top, and that will allow us to add some baskets for storage of larger items. Under the new bench top, we could have done drawers, but these movable butcher's blocks are a fantastic way to add extra workspace and also extra storage. You can pick these up for about $100, and depending on the size of your kitchen, they can be like a little mini island, which is great if you want to interact with people while you're working. You can see that we haven't extended the box above the fridge all the way to the wall, and that's because it would just be too hard to reach all the way back there. Instead, we've got these really handy light baskets that are easy to access. And already, this kitchen feels twice the size, simply by shifting the fridge across, adding in some extra bench space and the storage above the fridge. It is so much larger. There's something about black accessories that always looks cool, so I've chosen it as an accent colour for the sink, tap and light in here. Now, if you'd bought one of these reconstituted granite sinks 10 years ago or so, it would have cost you thousands. But these days, for just a few $100s more than a standard stainless steel sink, you can get this gorgeous one. And if you're wondering, it's just as easy to clean as normal stainless steel, and it doesn't scratch or stain easily. A chalkboard is very handy in a kitchen because you can write your shopping lists, you could write a message to other household members. So I'm making one for this kitchen. I've got a second-hand picture frame here, but I'm not going to paint the board in standard black chalkboard paint because in design it's really nice to have something a little bit unexpected. And these days you can have your chalkboard paint tinted to whatever colour you like. A good way to choose the colour is from the same colour family. So I'm using a beautiful deep green that will coordinate perfectly with the green we're doing on the kitchen cabinets. I've just added some buttons to the back so that it'll hang on the wall. And this gorgeous vintage frame is going to tie in so nicely with our vintage look in the kitchen. Are you happy with that? I'm making good use of the excess bench top by creating this open shelving, and you'll see I'm using black accents with the brackets. And how good do they look? The colour has come up beautifully and they're like brand new doors. Now, you might think something as small as a handle choice isn't an important detail, but actually it can change the whole look of the room. Here, I've chosen these gold ones because they give a little bit of bling and that luxe look that I'm going for. How stunning is this kitchen? And green is really on trend as a kitchen colour at the moment. But what really works in here and makes it timeless is the fact that we've used wood and a muted green. So in 10 years' time, it's going to look just as good as it does now. And the other thing that's working really well in this space is the juxtaposition between old and new. So I love that we've reused the homeowner's old vintage painting that she loves so much, as well as this second-hand picture frame, because it balances out really nicely with all the modern black accessories and the new bench top.
Would you take that one shot to make it alright, alright? Would you? Maybe I
You can see just how well this area is working because with the microwave on top of the bench, when you open the door, it takes up most of the space. But with this butcher's block being able to be rolled out, you can serve food right here. And it can be tempting when you're designing a kitchen to close everything in. But if you leave some open space, it means that everything feels lighter and brighter, and it also allows for layering, which means you can use styling as a tool to create character.
Like I used to do. Like I used to.
The thing that has had the biggest impact in this kitchen, but for the smallest price, is changing the colour of the paint. But it's also a functional kitchen.
Like I used to do. Like I used to do. Like I used to do.
Who wouldn't love a stunning new kitchen like this one that Adam and I created a little while ago? But the real beauty of this kitchen is not what you can see on the outside, but how clever it is on the inside. So if you don't have the budget for a full kitchen makeover, or if you're renting, stick around because I'm going to expose some great storage hacks that show that this kitchen is more than just a pretty face. This is a 450 wide standard cabinet. Now you could just use plain shelves in here, but I'm taking it to the next level and using this 2-basket system, which will be much more practical. And these little ones just sit on the inside of the door here. Then these larger baskets sit just on the inside there. So when you open the door, they pull forward, meaning you don't have to reach all the way to the back to access what's inside. Now I'm using these clear glass containers in here with these very sweet chalkboard labels, but you can be as creative as you like with your things. There is lots of inspiration online if you search pantry storage. Garbage is not the most glamorous part of the kitchen, but it's a really important part. So I've placed the regular bin under the sink here, and then for the compost and recycling, we have this great system in this drawer. And the reason we've placed it here is because it's close to the sink for waste. It's also really close to access other parts of the house and very easy for traffic flow to take your rubbish in and out. And anything that promotes recycling is a good thing, right? In this cupboard, I'm making the most of the available space. So I have this brilliant undershelf wire basket, which sits up here and uses space that would otherwise be empty. And it's also great because it allows some airflow for produce. Now down the bottom, I've got some large baskets, and that helps to contain the bigger items and keep them neat and tidy. I also love these clear Perspex shelves because they have pull-out drawers, and it means that all of these little bits and pieces that can kind of fly around otherwise are also contained neatly. You can see exactly what is inside. And then finally, my other favourite thing in here are these tiered shelves. And that just means that you can see exactly what's at the back there. And I'm not forgetting the space on the inside of the door. So here, I'm going to place some hooks to put a little baking section. So I've got measuring cups that are going to go along here, and then a chalkboard and some scales. This is now the perfect spot to write a recipe or your grocery list. And the best part is, when the door is closed, the kitchen still looks perfectly sleek and modern. And you're not limited to just kitchen storage items. This is actually a file organiser that goes on a desk, but it's going to work perfectly inside this drawer to organise frying pans. While this kitchen is an absolute stunner on the outside, these simple storage ideas prove that actually true beauty lies on the inside.